everyone, my name is Kamisha Blackman. I'm a graduating senior journalism and media studies major from Greensboro, North Carolina.
Hello, everyone. My name is Zamora Bonner. I am from Prince George County, Maryland, but I currently reside in Greensboro, North Carolina. I am a graduating senior, and my major is journalism and media studies, and I'm minoring in entrepreneurship.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Zendaya Muhammad. I am a graduating senior, interdisciplinary studies history major, originally from Rochester, New York.
Hello, everyone. My name is Gabrielle Crockett. I am an elementary education major, theater minor. I'm a third-year student here at Bennett, and I'm from Woodbridge, Virginia, just right outside DC.
Hi, everyone. I am Michaela Zeno, a graduating senior journalism and media studies major from New Orleans, Louisiana.
Hello, everyone. My name is Francie Rawls. I'm from Durham, North Carolina. I'm a sophomore here at Bennett College, and my major is journalism and media studies.
My name is Zara Gordon. I am a sophomore. I study music. My name is theater. Graduating.
Well, thank you all, ladies. And I'm Miss Tennille Foust from the theater department here at the illustrious Bennett College. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our first of many About Love roundtable discussions. So I just want to ask, being a woman of color, who is also a creator or an artist, and what type of challenges do you face, if any at all?
I can start. I think it's always hard sometimes to be a creator of color because they don't always get known. One of the big incidents when TikTok was first getting hype, Charli D'Amelio, a white content creator, did a dance from a Black content creator and got more hype, got more recognition, and didn't give that Black content creator her dues, her credits. And I think that was a big uproar. And a lot of times, Black content creators especially don't get the credit they deserve. And sometimes it is hard. And I think it helps when you find other content creators that are like you, doing what you do, kind of making a support system, and always being able to support their work and have them support yours. I think that's something that really helps because it is a struggle nowadays, but I think the times we're in, it's becoming more known for Black content creators to get the recognition that they deserve.
So, Michaela, do you think that you have to work 10 times as harder, or do you think it's equal?
We definitely have to work 10 times as harder. Especially going back to TikTok, because I see a lot of artists doing all sorts of things like acting videos and things like that. And you could have a white content creator do that and they could have 1.2 million views. You have a Black content creator, they might 50,000. Right. And they're doing the same thing and one might be better, but they're not gonna get recognized. And I feel like we have to just continue to work harder, promote more, try to reach out and get into other circles more than white content creators have to. And I think it does take a toll because we shouldn't have to work as hard when we're doing the same thing, sometimes better, sometimes we're more consistent they are, but no one's gonna recognize that unless we push ourselves to be 10 times better than them, So yeah, it's hard, but it's something we have to do, unfortunately.
Let me ask you one more question. Mm-hmm. Do you think that you said if they do it, they get 1-point-something million views, we do it, we get 50. Do you think that is due to the lack of support that we don't give each other? And why don't you think we give each other any support?
I think that is true. I mean, sometimes we don't support people as we should, and it could be for a number of reasons. You never really know, but I do think we get compared a lot, especially women, because the standard for people is skinny, A lot of Black women are curvaceous. We don't look like the standard, and I feel like, especially with certain TikTok trends, it helps if you're skinny and you're white, and it gives you that extra oomph that people will look at you more, as opposed to someone who's not as skinny, who has more curves. It's very hand in hand. And I feel like a lot of times when you do compare yourself to someone, that might make you hate them. So you don't want to give them their credit where credit is due. You rather go give it to someone else because you're kind of in that headspace. And I think that it's bad that we don't support our people, but it happens a lot.
Right.
Can I add to that?
Would anybody else? Yes, please.
I was getting ready to say, I think oftentimes women kind of look at another woman as competition versus a collaboration or like a partnership. I don't know why that is the deal, but I feel like oftentimes we just see other women, and if they're doing better than us, or, you know, we just view them as competition versus like trying to be inspired by them or learn from them.
Right. Well, Kamisha, you've heard me ask over the years, you've had me for a couple of years, I've asked the question before, why do you think that we as Black women are such haters amongst each other? Or do you think we're haters amongst each other?
I do feel like there is a great amount of women that hate on other women. There are some women in the world like myself who want to see other women win, but there are some that don't. I still can't figure out the reason as to why we kind of want to tear each other down and don't want to see each other win. That's still kind of something I'm still trying to figure out to this day.
I feel like low-key, I've kind of figured it out. I feel like it's a lot of what we're taught, or it's a lot of the energy that's around us that makes us be like, well, she's doing better than me and she's doing everything that I want to do. A lot of women aren't taught to support other Black women. They're not taught to be like, okay, that's my sister or that's my friend, and I'm gonna support her with her hustle. I'm gonna support her with her dreams. I'm proud of her. A lot of times we're not even taught in the household like to say, I'm proud of you, I'm happy for you, I love you, I really support you. So when we get in the real world and we're hustling and we're working hard, but when we see somebody who's doing the same thing but getting better results, it's like, what are we doing wrong? Oh, I don't like her. Oh, you know, this and that, this and that. And it's not fair. But I feel like it stems from how you were raised, the things that you learn over time, the behaviors that you learn over time. So I feel like Kamisha, that's where it kind of stems from. It might not be like the full, you know, backstory of like why, but I feel like that's where it kind of stems from. But I also agree with you and Michaela as well.
So I'm hearing you say that, Zamora. I think about I don't know if it's a TikTok or if it's just what's the name? I'm sorry, I don't know y'all's technology lingo. But the two little kids, when they meet each other and they're running up to each other, you remember it's the little Black boy and the little white boy, and they run and they hug each other. And then at the bottom of the screen, it says, hate is a taught behavior. So hearing you say that, I think about that. Like one I saw recently also, and it was a TikTok, on a reel, about it was two autistic little kids, and one of the little boys was crying, and the other little boy wiped his tears away and said, "It's okay, I love you." And it says, hate is a taught behavior. So do you think that there's a chance that we as Black women can teach each other not to quote unquote hate? Or do you think it's a lost cause?
I don't feel like it's a lost cause. I feel like if as Black women we're willing to empower each other, or get better, or support each other, we can do anything. It's just how you said, it's a top behavior to hate on somebody and to not be as positive and to kind of side eye a person because you might not know their situation or you might not know the full story. And it's just like, ugh, like, why are they like that? But you don't really know. it can be a top behavior of, okay, maybe she's going through something, or I really do support her. I really like her music. I really like her articles. I really like her marketing work, her media work, her creations, her movies, or whatever the case may be, her poetry. It can be a top behavior to be more positive and to be more opening and to be more supportive of the fellow women that you're working with, or women that you don't even know, but you might see on social media and you're just like, I really like her content. I feel like she's going somewhere. Instead of saying, oh, I wish I could do it, I'm gonna hate on her, like I'm jealous. So it's a top behavior for hate, just like you said, and it's a top behavior for being supportive, loving, understanding, and having that growth mindset and being positive.
Cool beans. Who are some of your who are some artists or creators of any kind that inspire you?
Can I answer this question?
Of course, Francie.
So my favorite artist is Nina Simone, because she was an activist with her music back in the day during the civil rights movement. And also one of my mentors that is an artist in Durham, her name is Candy Carver. She's also someone that I look up to because she's a Black woman. And then when it comes to art, I feel like it's another category that we're like segregated in, because you don't see a lot of Black women artists or muralists. And to learn from her to like do your art a certain kind of way, stay organized, and you have to like basically have a certain representation when you like are out and like carry yourself a certain kind of way, basically, that your clients look at that. And it's like when you have other people or other Black people that are artists as well, like a Black next to you painting on the wall, it's always like a constant, I wouldn't say war, but battle of like who's gonna get cut.
That's deep. You just said, wow. You just said it's like an artist painting the mural of her sister beside her. If you had to paint the artist, if you had to paint the mural beside you, who would you paint? Like for me, I would paint my mother. My mother is my biggest role model, my biggest shero, my biggest everything, because she didn't get to do half of the stuff that I was able to do. She didn't, she was the oldest of 9 kids. She didn't get to go to college. She got married at 19. She started having babies. She was a wife. And she vicariously lived her life through me when I was at A&T and when I went to Vegas. So she kind of ... on what I do now in life. She rides it too. For some of you that remember, she came to the Miss Bennett coronation and she got on the 360 and she said, oh my God, I had the time of my life. She went home and told my dad, like, so it's like a lot of the stuff that she never thought she could do, she's able to do now through myself and my nieces. And at 75 years old, we allow her to live her best life, So, and welcome, Kamisha Bowman. Would anybody else like to answer who is an artist or someone that inspires you?
I can go. So I recently just started reading again. And one of the big things for me was reading books by Black female authors with Black female main characters. That was like one of the reasons I stopped reading in middle school. I just felt like I couldn't relate to the characters and it was kind of unrealistic and it just didn't make me excited anymore. And the book that got me into reading again was Legend Born by Tracy Dion. And it just was phenomenal. I was able to picture myself in it, relate to it. It's actually about a girl who's going to early college at UNC Chapel Hill. So that was like the first thing. I was like, oh, okay, I know UNC Chapel Hill. She was making references about Bojangles, the Bo Berry Biscuit, about Durham. So I was like, this is kind of spot on for me. It made me kind of feel represented. And I know that's very hard, especially in books. It's hard to feel represented, especially when only white authors get kind of the praise. So she has kind of made me interested in reading again. And I've been reading ever since. It's been January 2022, made a year since I've started reading again. And she has just been phenomenal for me. And she's also kind of pushed me into wanting to write myself. So I'm kind of discovering that side of myself as well. So yeah, she's definitely a big creator for me.
And you said the name of the book was Legend what?
Legend Born.
Born. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Can I also jump in on that one?
Did you go to the, yeah, go ahead.
So I would definitely say that one of my creators, or one of the people that inspires me who creates, is a lady named Sharice May, and she's a Black female photographer from the DC area. And she's the one who kind of helped me to gain the confidence and the skill set to be able to carry myself in professional environments as a photographer. She does all kinds of photography, all kinds of things, like on Capitol Hill. She's done things at the White House, etc. And so those experiences that she's gained, she's been able to pass on some of the wisdom and some of the lessons learned from her experiences to me, so that I can have a better foundation as I move forward in my own career as a photographer.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, ladies. Where do you see your artistic ability taking you after graduation from Bennett College?
I can tackle that question. So after Bennett, prayerfully, my artistic ability will land me with a company that allows me to express my magic, express myself, be who I am, unapologetically, be myself, be comfortable with being myself, and like just embrace my opinions and my background, and kind of learn from me as to why I can learn from them as well. So
beautiful.
I
And Kamisha, you're from Greensboro, right?
Yes, I'm from Greensboro. So I'm trying to go somewhere other than Greensboro, maybe like Florida, Cali, where the arts is kind of like big at, and spread my wings there.
You really should. I mean, you should. This is for all of you ladies. If you went to undergrad close to home or home, like Kamisha's from Greensboro and she went to undergrad here, you should really think about going to grad school somewhere else. It's a whole opportunity unlike any other. Like Michaela is from New Orleans. So Michaela, what was the experience coming from New Orleans to little old Greensboro? And Zamora, I'm going to come back to you.
A little different, especially with Greensboro being like small and big in its own way, kind of trying to navigate the differences between Greensboro and New Orleans, especially one as simple as like jaywalking. Jaywalking is not a thing in New Orleans. We do it all the time. The cops will watch you do it. It's like not a thing. And you go to Greensboro, and I have been pulled back many times, like, you need to do a crosswalk. Like, I don't know, it was something so small like that, trying to figure out little differences, but also trying to get my surroundings, like knowing which stores I can go to, kind of trying to learn everything again in a way. Like, I already knew where things were back home, like that, I was good. And then it was coming to Greensboro, not knowing anyone. I had no family out there. So it's going somewhere where my family is 13 plus hours away. It's going somewhere I've never been, because the only time I visited was to tour the college beforehand. So it was a new experience, but luckily, because Greensboro is kind of small, I was able to figure out things quickly. So that was like a positive, but it was a bit of an adjustment for me.
Cool. Zamora?
I was going to tackle the after graduation question. So I have a few things in the works that I really can't talk about job wise that I'm very excited about. And eventually I'll tell you all. But hopefully, like Kamisha said, I land with a company or working under a person that allows me to shine my light, allows me to be creative, allows me to learn all I can from them, first of all, but also become a better creative, a better journalist, a better writer, producer, and everything. So I'm really excited. And I'm excited for all of you guys. I hope that, you know, life treats you well. And I'm trying to also go to grad school as well. So.
Amen. So Kamisha, Zamora, and Michaela are seniors, right? And then Francie, Gabrielle, and Kyrisha are juniors. Is that right, ladies?
I'm technically a senior, but I'm class of 23.
Oh, okay. And what you say, Francie?
I'm a sophomore.
You're sorry about that, Francie Ross. Now that I think about it, you are, aren't you? Sorry, Francie. So we have a lot more, 3 more years, well, 2 more years with you, Francie Ross.
I already know like, what I'm
Kyrisha.
gonna do after I graduate from Bennett, though. Like, I want to go work at a company or corporate job that maybe like a marketing agency or like a PBS, and eventually start my own agency, because that's something that I've always wanted to do. But I want to still learn from a big corporation or company and gain those skills to start up my own.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Where do you see yourself after graduation?
So I have a lot of different things that I want to tackle. First being a classroom teacher. So my major is education, and then of course my minor is theater. But I definitely want to go into kind of like the traditional classroom format and start there, and then from there use creative pieces in theater, in just really performing arts in general, and then also through photography to teach youth. So using creative arts as the vehicle in which I teach youth, versus sticking with that traditional classroom teacher format. So I want to start there and then grow into more of the creative arts side.
I love it. I love it. I've noticed that I've seen, as Michaela said, the TikTok with the guy who took gospel music and changed the ABCs for his kids and taught them their ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. And then at the end of it, all the kids was like, amen, 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 amen. And you know, in theater, we're taught to think outside of the box. And the more quote unquote unique you are, or able to broaden your horizon, the more unique it can be. I just have a question. Could you ladies imagine living in a time where you couldn't go inside of buildings, or you had to have permission to go inside of buildings? And how do you think that you would have handled it from a straight professionalism standpoint as young Black women?
Well, for me, I know it's a little touchy one, but for me, I think I would definitely look into places where I don't have to ask for permission, or I don't have to kind of jump through hoops to get into a particular building, but go to places that are more welcoming to my presence and focus on those types of areas versus dealing with the blockages put in place.
So would you say, Gabrielle, because you know what I'm relating that to the Belles of the 1960s. I'm relating that to, here we have our current 21st century Belles. How would you ladies have handled living back in the 1960s and dealing in that situation? Like, I see in this group right here, the Willoughby player, the Miss Roz, the Esther Terry, the Miss Dr. Johnson. I see all of these ladies, it just in amongst these ladies right here. But who do you see, and do you think that you would have been able to handle it?
I gotta be real with y'all. I would probably be part of Black Panther, Black Panther movement, because that's just something that irks my soul. It literally irks my soul. So I would look for ways to be accepted and not have to deal with the blockages, but I would definitely deal with the blockages. Like, I would try to fight it legally. I would protest. I would probably write petitions and letters and get people on my side and find like-minded people who knows that we can have the same rights as everybody else. So that's why my face turned like that, because it really irks my soul that we even had to even go through that. And our culture,
Right.
our people, we're very special, very talented, we're intelligent. And one of the things that they were very scared of, and some people are still scared of and still have that hatred mindset, is us being knowledgeable, us being strong, us being empowered. And so in a sense, yeah, I would really fight the power on that one. Like, I would have to be a part of a group of people that, you know, are strong as me, like-minded as me, and we would just go for it, because that is not right. It wasn't right then, it's not right now, and I would not stand for it.
Right.
So
I love
basically,
it.
off what Samara said, my inner activist would most definitely come out in that type of situation, and I would empower my Black community to start their own, maybe like, you know, Black Wall Street, so we didn't have to deal with that not being acknowledged, like she said.
I love it. I love it. Anybody else?
I think it's
So, lady. Oh, go ahead.
Let's be quick. I think it's like hard to say what you would do in a situation until like you're actually put in it, because I'm very much not a confrontational person. Anyone who has met me can tell you that, until I'm put in a situation where I have to be confrontational. And I don't know how well I would have done back then. Like, obviously you don't want anything to happen to you or the people you're with, but at the same time, we shouldn't have had to be treated the way we were. And kind of like the day and age we're in now, when something is unjust, you speak up for it, you protest, you get the word out there. And like Zamora said, we were knowledgeable back then, we're even more knowledgeable now. So imagine kind of where we are now and having to go back to that time period. I don't know how well any of us would do in that time period, because we don't stand for that. If something is wrong, we're going to fix it. We're going to speak out about it. We're not going to be mistreated, because we don't deserve to be mistreated.
Right. Well, Michaela, Zeno, I have to say, I know all of you, and Francie's probably the newest one out of all of you. I would have loved to have seen some of y'all back then. Michaela Zeno and Kamisha Blackman specifically. And we gonna talk about it. Like, it's you know, it's the attitude, the respect level that all of you ladies have, that I was taught respect. I was taught to demand respect, and I also give respect. So don't disrespect me. And that's why I think that all of you ladies would have excelled higher than you think you would. Like, it would have been a challenge, but I don't think it would have been a challenge as something as you think it is. Because think about it, things that you have to work for makes you stronger in the end. And all of those ladies who went through it, people who went through it back then, there's some strong women. So my next question for you ladies is, how has Bennett influenced you to achieve your dreams and enhance your creativity?
So I can jump on this one. So through environments like this, through environments where I'm just able to talk with my sister Belles and other people who work at the college who reflect me, and that they're most of the time women or of color or both. And so I just love that, because it gives me that support and the reminder that, hey, if they can do it, I can also do it. And hey, we together can do something even greater, something even more. So just being here and being in these spaces, being in these classes, these activities, clubs, organizations, even just hanging out in the cafeteria, like every aspect of Bennett really encourages me to keep going. And it's amazing how one of my sister Belles will say something to me, and it's like in perfect timing what I need to hear in that moment. And it's like, wow, like this place really is important. This place really is a gem.
I was getting ready to say, to add on to what Gabby is saying, I think that it's just very important to just be at a college with Black women, people that you have these shared experience with, people that make you feel comfortable, they support you, they love you for who you are, you can have a good time. It's always a vibe. And just also being able to have supportive staff, professors, like people who want to see you win. I think that's what really kind of drew me to Bennett. And also just the fact that Bennett kind of accepts you where you are at. They meet you like where you are, and they kind of just develop you and mold you into who you're supposed to be. I think that that's kind of really, something that's just very bigger and just, it's a gem.
Mm-hmm. I love it. And I was just gonna say, Gabby, it's not just for sister to sister. Like, you ladies, Gabrielle specifically, has encouraged me on days where I was ready to give up. And out of the blue, I just receive a message, and it just sets my whole day a whole nother way. And it forces me to think differently about the day. And it forces me to carry myself differently. So it's like we are each other's keeper. We are each other's sanctuary, because some days we just don't know. It's the one thing that a person can say, or that hug, or that the holding of the hand that could save somebody. In the chapel, and she just walked up to me and she said, "Hey, Miss Foust," and she just held my hand, and it just gave me such peace, because I have so much going on. So you ladies are an inspiration to us too, and I thank each and every one of you for being the beautiful diamonds that you are. Would anybody else like to answer?
I just want to piggyback off what Kamisha said about faculty and staff. Professor Lipscomb has been in my corner since day one. He's actually the one who got me into being a journalism and media studies major. And he's always pushing me to try new things, even when I do not see the vision or I'm not kind of there with it yet. He's helped me kind of develop my talent. So it's like those professors and those teachers, they are at Bennett, and they push us kind of to be our best version of ourselves, and even, kind of pushing us to do things we don't think we can do, but they know that we can do it. So I think that also makes a big impact.
It does. And that's beautiful. That's beautiful, because a lot of us are here because we want to be here. We're not here because we have to be. We genuinely are here because we love Bennett College and we love the Bennett Belles. I am here because I love my students wholeheartedly. So ladies, how did you prepare for the About Love Scholarship?
So for me, it was a lot of self-reflection based on a lot of the questions that were asked for the scholarship on the application. I was like, ooh, I'm gonna have to really think, like personal thinking on experiences that I've had, on what got me into embracing who I am as a creative, and just that whole journey, just the whole path between your personal experiences and then the tools in which you use to express those personal experiences, whether that be through painting, whether that be through photography, whether that be through acting, what have you. I had to do a lot of self-reflection. And so that was really the biggest and the first step to this whole process.
Gabby said about a lot of personal reflection. I remember looking at the questions, although it was like just those two big questions, but there was a lot behind them that you really had to think about. It wasn't something you could just, well, I'll do this later, I'll do this, that was a lot of reflection, a lot of thinking. I remember like talking to my mom about it, and she just said, show yourself, like tell them who you are. So I tried in the essays to relate things back to me, tell them how I got to the point where I am, why my creativity means the most to me, and was just trying to portray myself. And again, it was only 2 questions. So you really had to give it your all with those 2 questions, like write what you want to show them, kind of let them know who you are, why your creativity matters. So I agree with Gabby, personal reflection was a very big thing, and just taking that time to reflect on yourself, actually reflect on what your creativity means.
As for me, even though it was only 2 questions and the word count wasn't long, I feel as though I kind of overthought the process. Like I just didn't feel like I was qualified enough. And I kind of found myself doing that often. Like I kind of talked myself out of it. So if it wasn't for the fact of like my mom and my support system, just kind of pushing me and telling me like, do it. Like, the worst they can say is no, like go for it. I feel like that's kind of what I needed to hear. And I am a creator and I do a good job at it. So I feel like I need to embrace more of that and just kind of express myself. And I feel like that's just what I did with the application. And, they saw me to be fit. So I appreciate the opportunity.
The same thing
Yes.
kind of happened to me that happened to Kamisha. Overthinking, feeling like you're not qualified. And what happened to me, because I don't have like a huge support system down here, I looked at the questions one day and it took me like a couple of days to just come back to it and sit down and really just be like, okay, I can really do this. And I can really show them who I am. And there's so many layers to me. Why not? Just how Kamisha just said, the worst thing that they could say is no. I'm very much so capable. All of us on here are great creatives, beautiful young Black women who are trying to break into the industry and have so much to say and have so much to give and have so much to contribute. So yeah, it took a lot of self-reflection. I do agree with each and every one of y'all. It took a lot of that.
So just so you know, ladies, in this business and in life, you'll hear no more than you'll ever hear yes. But you have to allow those no's to be the vitamins and the food that you need to make you the strong, professional Black woman that you are meant to be. No isn't always a bad thing. Sometimes no's are good. And if you stay positive about it, no's will always turn into yeses. I myself don't take no for an answer. I keep pushing until that no turns into a yes. But I'm kind of a different breed, you know what I'm saying? But Michael Jackson has a song that says "The Man in the Mirror." How many of you have heard it? So he says, I'm starting with the man in the mirror. So if you had to start with the woman in the mirror, what would be one piece of advice that you would give her? And the woman in the mirror is who? So what would be one piece of advice that you would give her?
The one piece of advice I would give the woman in the mirror would to be your own unique self, your own authentic self. And the woman in the mirror would be a Black woman. It would be a specific person, or, but yeah.
I love it. Gabrielle?
One specific piece of advice to give myself, the person in the mirror, would be to embrace the moment first and foremost, and then fully bring all of who you are to the table. Don't hold back, ever.
Michaela?
I would also give that one piece of advice to myself, to never second guess myself, because my creativity is worth it.
Yes. Zamora?
If I was giving advice to myself, I would say don't overthink, breathe. You are worth it. You might be alone sometimes, but it's okay to be alone. It's okay to say how you feel in a respectful way. It's okay to put your creations on paper and bring it to life. You are special. You are worthy of all the good things coming to you, and just stay focused. I would say that to myself repeatedly because I tend, like I've said before, to overthink and to go into that mechanism of survivor mode when, not saying I don't have to do that anymore, but it's not as necessary as it was from my past. So I would just say it's okay to be yourself, Zamora. That's what I would say to myself.
Beautiful. Kamisha?
I would say to definitely stay focused, always show up as yourself and create your magic. Like nobody can take that away from you. Like you bring something valuable to the table. And as long as you know that and stand on that, there's nothing nobody can say or do to make you waver in that. So
Beautiful. So ladies, one last question. What artists in your field would you love to meet and why?
okay, I have one.
Okay.
Her name is Tabitha Brown. She's from Eden, North Carolina. And she's like America's most famous mom and just like social media influencer. And to me, she just kind of is a walking testimony that you can really do anything that you put your mind to, and what's for you is going to always be for you. And just her just being nice and just being herself, like that just creates her revenue. Like you can just, your money will come to you. Like you can just be yourself. You don't have to try to be somebody that you're not. And what's for you is going to always be for you.
I love it. So that's not Tabitha Brown. That's not the journalist, is it? Is she the journalist?
She's more so like a social media like influencer. She's an author. She does like so much different things. And so the aspect that I guess I relate to her the most is with the whole social media influencer, how she markets herself and just different things like that in the media industry.
Because I think I may be thinking of another Brown, because I thought it might be, okay, I'm not gonna talk on it. But let me look into that, because I believe in 2008, when I thought Tabitha Brown was one of our commencement panelists. So she might already have a connection to Bennett and we just don't know it. But sometimes you got to talk stuff into existence. Asha, come on. Come on, Tabitha. Come on to Bennett land. Come on to Bennett land, yeah. Come on. Okay. So Tabitha Brown for Kamisha. Zamora, you said Tabitha Brown was yours as well?
Tabitha, of course, but I have another one.
Okay.
So I would say Ava DuVernay. And the reason why I would say her is because first, she's a writer, she's a director, she's in the media world, behind the camera, producing. She's really a go-getter. She's very assertive, direct, ultimately creative, and just beautiful in her elegance. And so I would definitely if I could meet her, if I could work with her, if I could learn from her, that would be one of my people. There's a lot of people I want to learn from. There's a lot of people that I would love to work with, work under, you know what I'm saying? But if I just had one pick, it would probably be her.
Cool beans.
Okay, I'll go next. So for me,
Okay.
so Zamora stole mine, Ava DuVernay, but then also like right next to her is Zendaya. Zendaya has inspired me from the time I was, I don't know, maybe 10 years old or something. There used to be this Disney Channel show called Shake It Up. And the thing that stood out to me the most was how expressive the two main characters were in the way that they dressed. And it was like they would wear literally every color on the rainbow and nobody cared. Like it was
Right.
okay, you have to have matching outfits, so you have to do this way, but they broke that shell for me. And so even like as a 10-year-old, just elementary schooler, it was like, wow, I can be like, it's okay to be expressive of who you are. It's okay to create beyond the limits that are around you. And so many of the projects that she's worked on since then, she's grown up beautifully in the spotlight and everything. And she stayed true to who she is in everything she's done, from modeling, from creating movies and TV shows, as an actor and everything, and just her social media presence as well. She's very inclusive. She's very just her. You just know, like, just Zendaya, and then you know exactly what you're gonna get because she stayed true to that, even through growing up in the spotlight. So Ava DuVernay, and then also Zendaya.
Cool beans.
I'll go next. So a lot of mine were already said, so I'm gonna say someone else. I'm gonna talk about another author. Her name is JL. And the reason I kind of look up to her and I would love to meet her, she actually also got her degree in journalism. So that's kind of like another motivation push for me. But her debut novel was called Wings of Ebony, and Black main character. But what I love about it is she talks about the realness of the cops and their police brutality, what it is like to grow up in a Black neighborhood where it takes a village to raise a child, what drugs can do to kids, kind of how Black kids are smart and sometimes they get caught up in the wrong crowd, but to kind of lighten the realness, she does also incorporate a fantasy fiction side to it, and she also talks about colonization. So I feel like that book alone just made me want to sit down and talk with her. Like, how did she come up with it? How did she go about talking about the real world in this sense? And she got a lot of hype for the book, which I am proud of, and it's actually a series. Her second book just came out recently. But I would just love to sit down and talk with her because the topics she discussed in her books are big topics that a lot of people are talking about that should have light shown on them, but she also introduced it in a more so lighthearted way so people can kind of really start to digest it a little bit. So that it would be JL.
Wings of Ebony was the name of the book, right, Michaela?
Yes, that's right.
Someone asked what was the name of the book. Okay, Francie.
Someone that inspires me in my field, in my major, is Gloria Steinem. She was an activist for the women's rights movement, and I recently watched a documentary about her in my women's studies class, and she really spotlighted the difference in not having equal rights, especially in journalism and during that movement. So I really look up to her.
Beautiful. So, Nzinga and Jaya, what artists in your field would you love to meet and why?
You said artists?
Mm-hmm.
Can I do more than one? Or just have okay.
Yes.
I would love to meet Beyonce, Rihanna, SZA. No, definitely SZA. I don't know. I'm more into female artists. I don't know why, because I feel like female artists are taking over the industry now, because it's always been ruled by men, and now female are taking over, and more people are feeling in tune with the artist's feelings. Like they get what the artist is putting out into the world. I don't know. But I most definitely want to meet Beyonce because she definitely don't put her business out there. She's in control of everything. Sometimes things go wrong, but it's not it's not rude or anything. She's more sincere with her work. She's like dedicated, more connected to women.
I love it. I love it. Nzinga?
Well, artists I like to my field. Well, my field's a little different. My field is history. But in terms of artists in general, I know there's a couple of artists. What's his name? Kende Wiley. I would love to meet him. In terms of acrylic paint. I would also like to meet. I'm not sure if I'm saying her name correctly. Lynette Yadom Boyke. I think that's how you pronounce it. But just different kind of acrylic artists and just contemporary artists, as well as musical artists, because Beyonce absolutely would love to meet different other female artists. Love Nicki Minaj. Love to meet her. Kehlani, love to meet them. Just all different, different artists, people I think I would like to meet.
Cool beans. What you say, Jaya?
One more person. Can I add to my answer? One more person. One person, I'm done. You don't have to hear me. Zendaya. I would love to meet her. She's just cool, calm, and collected. Zendaya. Yeah. She just, I don't know. I want to get there.
Gabrielle?
Unbothered.
Gabrielle
I'm done.
said Zendaya, didn't you, Gabrielle? Gabrielle, didn't you say
Yes,
Zendaya?
ma'am. Yep, Zendaya has inspired me since I was a little girl. I mean, she's part of the reason why I'm able to be as bold and as expressive as I am now.